As we discussed earlier, CKLA uses a systematic phonics approach that teaches students to read by blending all through the word. It is a sounds-first approach where the most frequent sounds and sound spellings are taught first to access text more rapidly. CKLA focuses on sounds or phonemes rather than letters as the primary organizing principle of the
Yeah, this is kind of insane.
As we discussed earlier, CKLA uses a systematic phonics approach that teaches students to read by blending all through the word. It is a sounds-first approach where the most frequent sounds and sound spellings are taught first to access text more rapidly. CKLA focuses on sounds or phonemes rather than letters as the primary organizing principle of the program. For example, with the word cat, students would be taught to sound out each individual spelling or letter first. So for example, they would say k, a, t, and then blend those sounds together to say the word cat. Eventually, with more miles on the page or more reading, students will develop automaticity and finally word recognition, where they can just look at the word cat and read it. Cat is then recognized as part of the word catch, and eventually, with enough practice and reading exposure, even the words catch and catacomb will be automatically recognized. Decoding sound by sound, chunking, and recognizing are all part of the phonics to word recognition process. As you know, CKLA has critical skills routines that support students' phonics knowledge and ultimately their word recognition and fluency. The routine we'll focus on now is chaining. Chaining routines allow us to teach students how to break words down into their smallest units of sounds, or phonemes. A chain is a series of words, sometimes including pseudo words or silly words, that can be built by changing only one letter or spelling at a time. For example, dad, mad, mat, at, cat, cot, dot. As you can see in that chain of words, I only changed one spelling or one sound at a time. Let's look a little deeper at the types of chaining that you may encounter in CKLA. Again, chaining reinforces students' ability to manipulate the sounds in a word in which only a single phoneme or grapheme is changed, added, or deleted at a time. Phoneme is just a fancy way of saying sound, and grapheme is a fancy way of saying spelling or letter. There's two types of chaining. So we have chaining for reading, which is where the teacher manipulates the sounds or the spellings in a word, and the students read those words aloud. Here, students are learning how to decode similarly spelled words by identifying those discrete sounds. We've also got chaining for spelling. In this type of chaining, the teacher gives directions on how to manipulate the sounds or spellings in a word, and students spell those words. The purpose here is to teach students to encode similarly spelled words by identifying the discrete sounds.